Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're planning for September. So this month, my plan with me theme was extremely self-indulgent. I've been watching a lot of art YouTube lately, so I was really inspired to create my own character in like a manga anime style. This is obviously not like 100% accurate. It's more like a mixture of styles, but I still think it's pretty cute. So my character her name is September, obviously, and she's basically the personification of September if it was a magical girl. She's got a big pencil because of back to school. She's got leaves as a skirt because of the change of seasons. And she's got blue eyes and a blue necklace for the birthstone for September, which is, excuse me while I casually Google birthstone for September. And it's a sapphire, and I thought it was, but I just wanted to make sure. So she's got a sapphire necklace and blue eyes that also kind of tie into that sapphire theme. And she's got a little bird sidekick because, as I understand it, magical girls always must have a cute sidekick. The bird is blue. I guess it's a blue bird. It reminds me kind of like the Twitter bird before they changed their logo. I don't know. My process for this was I created the character, and then I sketched it out in my sketchbook, and then I transferred the sketch with my Lightbox into my bullet journal, which was pretty hard because, as you saw, the paper in my Archer and Olive notebook is super thick, so it was kind of a struggle to transfer this sketch, but I got there in the end. And right now I'm just inking it with my Sharpie S gel pen. And this is the only pen that I have found that doesn't smudge when you go over it with Crayola markers, which is what I'm going to do. And it also is very good to like do these straight lines. I'm doing a lot of straight lines in this theme, so it's very important that the ink doesn't smudge. And to do all of the sketching, I just used a blue Crayola erasable pencil. I did that because it erases a lot better than your normal lead pencil. So for September, I did something I don't usually do, which is just like a normal calendar layout. And I had fun putting the blocks in for all of my things, like my goals, my reading, and my watching, as comic book panels. That was my monthly spread, and for my Etsy and YouTube spread, I used this awesome like full page diagonal cut comic book or manga layout, and I really love how this turned out. It's so much fun to make these big diagonal lines, and then I just added the pencil and the little bird, which by the way I named Chirp, which is super original, but all the labels that I've used throughout the spreads are little speech bubbles, which I thought was really cute and super clever. I'm sure I'm the only person that's ever thought of this. I'm very original. Of course, that's sarcasm. I know that somebody's probably done this before and probably done it much better, but I had a lot of fun putting this together. I used to draw comics all the time. I loved comics, I loved manga, I loved anime. So then for my final spread, which is going to be my first weekly spread for the month, I created this panel at the top, which is kind of like an establishing shot, and it's kind of like these apartment buildings with trees and stuff. That is going to be my weekly spread. So I did things a little bit differently this time around. I actually sketched everything out first, then I did all of the inking, and now I'm going in with the color. And you saw I'm using only Crayola markers. I do have alcohol markers, Ohuhu brush markers, which are similar to Copics, but Copics don't play well with this paper. They bleed straight through, which is unfortunate because I feel like this paper in this Archer and Olive notebook is like indestructible. You can put pretty much anything on it. I've tried watercolors, I've tried gouache, I've tried all sorts of different kinds of inks, but Copics unfortunately is where you draw the limit. You can't use Copics on this unless you want the design to bleed completely through. So I had to go with the Crayolas. I have a pretty big set of Crayolas, so I wasn't too worried. The only problem is that her skin is very, very pink. I thought it would be a little bit better, but once it's all colored in, your eye kind of skips over that, but she is very, very pink. I don't know, maybe she's sunburnt. You don't know, it might be part of the story. Her color scheme is very blue and yellow, and then she also has some green in the leaves of her skirt. So since I couldn't use my Copics, I ended up using this cell shading kind of look where I couldn't blend any of the colors. Like I kind of blended a little bit in her hair and in the leaves, but it's like a feather blend rather than an actual gradient. Otherwise, all the shadows are pretty sharp, which is fine. That's kind of a vibe. Looking back at it now, I thought it would be a lot better if it was in color, but if I could do this over again and if I had some screen tones, I would love to see this in screen tones or in black and white. I think it would look so cool. And if you don't know, screen tones are like transparent stickers that you can use in comics for the shading effects. And they used to use it a lot for traditionally drawn comics and manga. If I had those, I would definitely have used them, but I didn't, so I couldn't. But if I could do it over again with all the supplies that I have, I probably could have made do with just some watercolor, maybe like a wash of black watercolor, and that would kind of give that grayscale effect. Maybe it's an old school comic, kind of like Archie back in the day. They only had like 4 or 5 colors that they printed with. Maybe it's kind of like an old school comic style. So in the end, I really like how it turns out anyway, but if I ever did this again, I think I would do a black and white theme, and I think it would look really cool. Now this little establishing shot with the buildings, I mean, it's pretty messy, but I really like it. I think it really gives that, I even like drew in some leaves flying in the wind, and I really like how it looks. I think it looks super cute. And there is my little September character with her little bird in the corner, because we have to include her or the bird or the pencil in every single spread. So I'm sure you can tell that I am obsessed with this theme. I love it, and I was so in the mood to draw it, so I'm really glad that I have my bullet journal where I can be completely creative just for myself. This might not be like everybody's cup of tea for a theme, but for me it was perfect, and it was so much fun to create a character and, you know, bring her to life. So I hope you really enjoyed watching me create this spread. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!